kidding. We are solving equations. Yay! So, solving more equations. And so sometimes our equations have tons and tons of fractions. And evidently I forgot to finish typing this in, but we want to be able to clear fractions to make problems easier. Because I don't know about you, but I would like to avoid fractions if I can. And we have a pretty easy way of doing that. But first, I do want to show you that we can solve these if we want to using our calculators because I don't think we need to go through adding and subtracting fractions again. So let's just look here, maybe at number 4. We're just going to do one together. Number 4. We are solving this equation. It's got tons and tons of fractions. And so I'm going to go ahead and draw my wall here. And we're going to use our calculators to help ourselves out. So we can use calculators, so please follow along with your calculator. And we can do this with our calculator. And so today you sort of get an option. The problem is when we do all these things with fractions on our calculator, it can get a little ugly, all right? So first, our job is to get the C all by itself. C is unhappy with other numbers nearby. So what should we move away first? What should we move away first? 8/3, exactly. So we can do that. I'm going to move it by subtracting 8/3 from both sides. And so what we can do in our calculator, so you have a nice little menu for fractions. Some of you may or may not know this, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how to use it. It's the F1 menu. It's green. F1 is green right here. Do you see the F1? Yeah. Okay, and if it's colored green, what do we need to do? Push the green alpha button. So we want to do alpha F1. And this is our fraction menu, and you can see that we have option number 1 here is just a fraction, numerator over denominator, and that's what we want to choose here. We're just going to choose number 1. So you can press 1 or hit enter, and it creates a lovely little fraction for us. I just hit enter, but you can push number 1 or the F1. So alpha F1, alpha F1. Look at my finger up on the board. Alpha F1. All right, are y'all with me? You got it? Okay. So what I'm going to do, whoops. All right, so I have my fraction here, and we're going to type in 5/12. And then we need to subtract the fraction 8/3. So I'm going to go ahead and back to my fraction menu. So alpha F1. F is for fractions. All right, alpha F1. So I'm going to hit that again and then do 8/3. So the reason this is kind of a nice menu is because it puts them in fraction form and we won't have any confusion. It's a lot of button pushing though. Okay. So where we got, and then it's going to always give me a fraction in reduced form. So we get 9/4 equals 3/2 times C. Okay, are you with me? Yeah? Practice with those calculators. It's really, really important. All right, so then this is 3/2 times C. How do we get C by itself? Divide? We can absolutely do that. We can divide by 3/2 on both sides here. So you'll notice how I wrote that. It's pretty, it's okay. So the times by 3/2 and divide by 3/2 cancel out. And in my calculator, I can actually put this whole left-hand side in my calculator. I'm going to do my fraction, -9/4. So alpha F1. So going back to my fancy fraction menu, -9/4. So there's my first fraction. And then I want to divide it by the other fraction. So I'm going to go back to my fraction menu. So alpha F1 again, divided by 3 over 2. Whoops. Hopefully this works. Just want to make sure it works. Okay, it did. Okay, good. So here's what we got. So that is our little fraction division there that your calculator can perform for you. So we get negative 3 over 2. This is not too shabby. Calculators are nice, right? Okay. Did you all get that? Okay. All right. So you can do this with the calculator, but I want to teach you a very cool way, and this is the savvy way to get rid of fractions. We want to be able to clear fractions, and it's not that hard, but it's a great method for when we have really crazy equations that have lots and lots of fractions, which is what you're getting today. It's not too hard, but it is a great strategy, okay? So what I have here here are the steps for that. So we'll read through. Rather than working with fractions, it can be easier to solve using a process called clearing the fractions. The first step is to identify the least common denominator, which is really the least common multiple of each denominator, okay? Your calculator can help a little bit with that, but it can't help fully. So it's really finding the least common multiple of all of the denominators. And what we want to do, the real trick is we can multiply the entire equation. So we're going to multiply every single term by that LCD, that least common denominator. And then solve it. It's just creating what's called an equivalent equation. And so something like this, number 5, is really easy to do. Look at all these denominators. What's the least common denominator of all of those? It's just 7. And so what we're going to do is we are going to multiply every single term by 7. I want you to squeeze that in, ladies and gentlemen. Put in a times by 7 in each numerator. We're going to multiply every single thing by 7. And here's a kind of fun thing that happens here. What do you suppose? Let's see. Look what happens here. If I multiply 7 times 13, I get 91. So that becomes 91 over 7x. But 91 over 7 cleans up, and it's just 13. So it becomes 13x. What happens to these times and divide by 7? They just cancel out, yeah. So those reduce, which is kind of nice. You can kind of go straight to the 13x there. What happens with 4 times 7 divided by 7? It's 28 over 7. And what is 28 over 7? 4. It's just 4. So what happens to these 7s ultimately? They just cancel out, sure. All right, and then over here we have our equal sign and our negative 9 times 7 over 7. What's going to happen with those 7s? Yeah, they're just going to cancel out as well. And what are we left with? Negative 9. Is this a lot easier to solve? Yeah. Sure, absolutely. Addison, please turn around. All right. Absolutely a lot easier to solve. Those 7s just end up canceling out. And so now, how do we solve for x? Subtract 4. And we have 13x is equal to negative 13. And then how do we get x by itself? Divide by 13. Last one, please stop. X equals negative 1. Negative 13 divided by 13 is negative 1. Much easier to solve when we clear those fractions. All right, questions so far? Let's turn the page. So sometimes the denominators don't all match. It makes it a little bit more challenging. Let's look here at number 9. Let's look at number 9. We have denominators of 5, 2, and 5. What is the least common denominator between 5 and 2? It is 10. How do we do that? So it's really the least common multiple. Just to remind you, we have our denominator of 5 and we have a denominator of 2. And I want to just look for the multiples and see where one matches. So I'm going to look at my multiples of 5. So we're going to count by 5. So what's next? 10, 15, 20, and so on and so forth. All right, multiples of 2. 4, 6, 8, 10. Ding, 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 we have a winner. So all we're doing to find that least common multiple, or least common denominator, is look for the lowest multiple that they have in common. All right? So the LCD is 10. And of course, that one was a real easy one. You probably knew that already. All right. So once again, I'm going to multiply every single term by 10. So I'm going to do 10 times the 18, and 10 times the numerator of 1, and 10 times the 13. Now this one's going to be a little bit harder, but it's all calculator work, which is super nice. So on my first fraction here, I have negative 18 times 10, and then that gets divided by 5. So I can do the whole thing right in my calculator. Negative 18 times by 10 divided by 5, and it'll clean itself up real nice, and we get negative 36. Here, on the second thing, I've got negative 1 times 10 divided by 2, and then times a k. I can't put the k in there, but I'm just putting it all in my calculator. It cleans up real good. Negative 5 with a k. And then my last fraction, I have negative 13 times by 10 and divide by 5. Real easy to do. Are you following along there? Yeah? So I get a real easy negative 26. And so it becomes pretty easy to get rid of all the denominators. They just clean themselves up like magic. And then we can solve for k. How should we solve for k? Add 36 to both sides. So I have negative 5k equals, let's see, positives win by 10, yep. And then we need to divide by negative 5, beautiful. So we get k equals negative 2. So clearing the fractions becomes super easy. I think it's ultimately less button pushing than if we use the fraction menu all the time, okay? Let's try some more here. Let's look at number 11. Number 11, we've got denominators of 4 and denominators of 2. What's the LCD? Yeah, 4. So again, we have to multiply every single term by 4. And remember, this is a 1r, so we have to multiply that by 4 as well. So every single numerator, we have to times by 4. So smush it in, ladies and gentlemen. Smush in that times by 4 so you know what you're doing when you have to look back at it. So here, 1 times 4r becomes 4r's. Here we have 1 times 4 divided by 4. What's that going to give me? It's just going to give me 1, yeah. Over my right side, I have negative 3 times by 4 divided by 2. 12 divided by 2 is going to give me that negative 6. You don't have to use the calculator. It's not that hard. 1 times 4 is 4 divided by 2? 2. R. All right? Use your calculator if you want, or do the math because the numbers aren't bad, yeah? All right, we have an easy equation to solve now. my rule, letters to the left. Letters to the left. So if the letters go to the left, I need to take this letter on the right side and do what with them? Minus 2r from both sides. Positive 2r and negative 2r go away. 4r's minus 2r's is 2r's. Plus 1 equals negative 6. And now r wants to be totally isolated. So what should we do next? Minus 1 from both sides. So I have 2r equals negative 7. And then how do I get r by itself? Divide by 2, divide by 2. So I get r equals negative 7 over 2, which is a beautiful answer. It doesn't reduce, but it is a totally fine answer. All right, questions so far? Let's look at number 13. On number 13, we have denominator of 24, a denominator of 4, and a denominator of 3. What's the least common denominator? Yeah, it does happen to be 24. 24 divides evenly by 4, and it divides evenly by 3, so that's a great one to do. All right, so I am going to multiply every single term by 24. I'm going to put it in the numerator. So times by 24, times by 24. Don't forget the 1 times 24 and the last fraction times 24. Everything gets multiplied by 24. What happens here with negative 13 times 24 divided by 24? The 24s just cancel out, yeah. And I'm left with negative 13. The next one's pretty big. I'm going to use my calculator. I have 3 times 24 divided by 4, which is going to give me 18 with a W. Here I have 1 times 24. That's just going to be 24 W's. And then my last one here, I have negative 2 times 24 divided by 3, which is going to give me negative 16. All right, negative 16. So again, use that calculator, use your brain. All right. Again, we're solving. We want all the letters to the left side. So I got to move this 24W. We're going to subtract 24W. Let's see. So I have negative 13, positive 18, and a negative 24. The negatives win by 6. All right. And that's equal to negative 16. Then what should we do? Add the 13, good. Add the 13. So we have negative 6W equals, let's see, negatives win by 3. Negatives win by 3. And then, how do we get W by itself? Divide by negative 6. Thank you, very good. And so we get W equals, negative 3 over 6. Let's see, negative 3 divided by negative 6. We get a fraction of 1/2. Of course, I knew that already, but you can use your calculator, right? If you need to, a fraction of 1/2 is totally fine. How are you feeling? Give me a thumb here. Feeling okay? All right. So you have 2 options for solving. You can plug it out with the fraction menu, or you can clear the fractions. Please, ladies and gentlemen, show the work. Get out a piece of paper and show the work here. Yeah.